Now, no strangers to winning on the big stage is the Orange Juicers. Of course, the NA Regional Champions last year, crowned in New Orleans. No trophy, as we are constantly reminded, but here they're looking to make it matter in London.
That's right. Orange Juicers with our first ban here. They are going to ban out the Slowbro. Peru Unite banning out the Sableye. Targeted ban against Roland. Roland is pretty incredible on this Pokemon. Inteleon,
and
the ban from the Juicers. And, of course, the Psyduck. So 2 bans towards the side of the support core on Orange Juicers as they are looking to grab their first pick. With the Inteleon ban, they could grab the Miraidon here, but it's possible. No, they decide to actually take the Zacian right away.
Really concerned, making sure OG has pretty much been solo Zacian this whole time, kind of locked into that prison for them, but it gives Kea the Blissey. Kea and Draken, the support core of Peru's team, is some of the best on the planet, and honestly is what allows Tempo, Zainus, and Anemo to go as deep and play as kind of off the rails as they do, because they always seem to be there to support them. And we're going Snorlax and Mamo. They are cutting off. They're trying to cut off Zug.
Yeah, this is a really interesting look here from Peru. It's not what you would expect at all. Zugra grabbing the Umbreon fairly quickly here. Yeah. It doesn't seem like they were too shaken by that at all. And then Flareon's on the Miraidon, a Pokemon they have been known for. It looks like the Juicers are getting a lot of what they want. This double defender pickup is really interesting from the side of Peru.
I'm left a little stunned here, but maybe these next 2 picks that they're going to make will help illuminate what they're going with. Grabbing Mimikyu is Tempo. Zainu's still on the clock. Again, Zainu's kind of long-range player for this Peru squad, maybe going to be carrying this Alolan Ninetales, as honestly, Zugrug has been playing a lot of Tree this tournament, so you can't really cut them off. Zugrug grabbing Umbreon, those 2 are most likely going to swap here, and Roland's going to playing a support Umbreon, and they are terrific on that pick.
You know, the interesting plays here, I mean, we have once again this Mamoswine and Alolan Ninetales for Peru, which looked pretty amazing earlier. Final pick, Leafeon for Kratos. Kratos known for this Pokemon. And speaking of known for, we now have the Scyther pickup for the side of Peru. They are known to grab this Pokemon, and it worked for them at the World Championships to take down the Juicers. So I'm not surprised to see it here once again. It feels like both of these sides got a lot of what they wanted. I'm surprised not to see more of a, I guess, sort of traditional support on the side of Peru, and instead we have 2 defenders.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to play with those 2 defenders incredibly well, because there's a lot of options that Orange Juicers have to really get into the backline and put pressure on Zainus, for example. You just look at that Miraidon. I mean, Flareon's on the Electro Drift Miraidon with that full heal, going to be able to quickly pounce on any unsuspecting player and actually zip back out. That's one thing that Flareon's Electro Drift Miraidon is different than the most that we've seen, is their ability to go in, get quality knockouts, and also make it out from that exchange.
I gotta say, I am a little worried for the Juicers if we are running the Electro Drift Miraidon, because boy, they have a lot of things that are tough to Electro Drift into, right? You've got Mamoswine that can shut you down. You have the Alolan Ninetales that anything that dives really does not like being near Alolan Ninetales at all. It's sort of more of a mid-range, you know, attacker Pokemon, as opposed to some of these much longer range like Inteleon, Decidueye, something like that. Even Miraidon Charge Beam outranges it. So we're gonna have to see how they want to play around it, because it is one of those Pokemon, as you mentioned earlier, you and I talking off broadcast while watching, you just can't play near it, which is very, very dangerous for a lot of these Pokemon. But here we go. We're in the semifinals. This is a best of 5. Orange Juicers, your purple team, versus Peru Unite, your orange team. The winner of this will be heading to our grand finals on Championship Sunday.
Kea immediately going to scrap it out on that contestable Indeedee here, as Roland is keeping an eye on Draken. We have the beautiful Holowear on that Alolan Vulpix, carried by Zainus, of course, as they are moving through. 2 players I've always constantly impressed with on Peru are Kea and Draken. I will never not say that. They are the reason for me that Peru is so successful.
Yeah, we're fighting over this experience here. They're able to get a lot of it and a huge stun right there with the Mamoswine. Experience goes over. They hit the level 4. They are Alolan Ninetales now. Down in the bottom path, Tempo looking for that level 5. Not able to get it yet, but here comes Scyther, Anemo, already level 5, ready to rip through some of this experience. While we see Kratos on the other side running to the top path. It looks like it's getting caught a little bit by the Mamoswine. They know it's heading there now.
Yeah, the vision is going to be more important than anything. Now they can't really get that big support surprise knockout, and you can see that Peru is playing it safe, going straight in as Draken with a little bit of tackle action. And look at that, 2v3, able to get it done and really getting some experience, but not letting things go out of control, which was the goal.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's kind of peeling away from this fight. No one wants to give up too much as everyone's moving back, heading towards their central areas, trying to get as much experience as possible. The higher level you are, obviously, the more damage you're going to do to your opponents as some of these carry Pokemon, and they want to get to their Unite moves as quickly as possible. The Juicers level 6 on Leafeon. If they can hit 8, they're going to have their Unite much earlier than you could on the side of Peru. Obviously, Scyther needs 9.
Okay, they have an idea where Zugrug is. They're putting pressure on them. Tempo's pushing forward. They know they have Anemo in pocket. The dual wing beat comes through, doesn't quite hit their mark, and Zugrug able to evolve under that pressure.
Here we go, heading to this central area right here. We're picking up some KOs in the top path. 3 members of the Juicers on this goal. The Ice Shard misses. Nice score here. They're up 32-9 at this point, but here comes Anemo looking for this fight. The dual wing beat could land in the bush, but caught right away by the Sacred Sword. Doesn't go down, though.
Use the dual wing beat. Holy, okay. Anemo coming through with a 3-banger on no HP, by the way. Just put down the dual wing beat, kick, flip forward, got some knockouts, and now they need to get some points in, which they are, shrinking this lead and now taking it 37-33.
Wow, what an amazing play. I mean, I can't believe surviving on absolutely nothing in that fight, taking down multiple members of the Juicers, even after they were caught by that huge Sacred Sword. Such impressive plays.
I mean, tip of the cap. Peru is one of the only teams that have made Scyther even a reasonable selection. In anybody else's hands, it looks like a ham sandwich. Absolutely useless out here in the Thea Sky Ruins.
And now they're going for this Registeel dupes next. Already ripping it to half, but here comes Zugrug with a big-time wood hammer.
Anemo moving through. Electro Drift is going to rip through them, and that's a quick knockout and a secure here as the Mimikyu is still trying to scrap up front, but 3v1 is a tough and tall order to try and deliver on. Now Zinus is down, quickly caught by the Leafeon. We keep pushing forward as the tree gave them the support to close out that knockout. Another Razor Leaf goes down, and now Kea is having trouble in the face of all these Juicers.
Wow, look at that massive heavy slam. Catching 3, still not going down, but the goal does. Kratos now at level 10, by the way, on this Leafeon, which is exactly where you want to be. If you are a speedster, of course, if you're a carry in general, but especially these speedsters, when you are multiple levels over your opponents, that is when you can really pick up these massive KOs with that crazy amount of burst damage that you can put out.
Draken jumping in with an Earthquake, trying to see where the team is. They pull out an Electro Drift, and that puts the Miraidon right in the hands of that Scyther. Anemo unable to close in, or electing not to, I should say, as really the pressure continues. We'll see how these teams jockey around Regieleki.
Yeah, we do not have a Unite move here from the Scyther, but we've got a couple Unite moves on the side of Peru. They're moving forward right there. Huge play from the Mamoswine, looking to pick something up, and they do. Trevenant goes down. Zugrug's down in that top path. Regieleki now being ripped apart by Peru.
Now Electro Drift Miraidon goes through. Draken low on HP. KO Shriek a 2 for Mimikyu. Draken actually makes it out. Kea stepping up to give Anemo some space, forcing out the Miraidon Unite that still doesn't put a scratch on that Scyther. And now they take the Regieleki. We'll watch how they play this one. Draken is back, and they would like to evolve quickly. Tempo goes straight in, no fear. They're going for it, forcing out the Roland Unite. Zinus keeps going back. They're low on HP. Flareon's misses the Electro Drift. First time I've seen that happen, but the follow-up from the Leafeon is there. They get the knockout. Anemo low on HP. They're trying to scramble away. Meanwhile, the Miraidon's dealing with the Regieleki, and everybody else is pivoting downstairs.
Yeah, and here we go. Kratos running after the Scyther, still caught right there by OG on the Zacian. They were having to run all the way across the map, and Piloswine not able to stop them. Kratos now all alone in this bottom path. Orange Juicers are going to be able to get this Regirock for free while they are still dealing with the Regieleki in the top path. 149-37. Amazing counter punching by OJ right there, and OG getting that huge KO.
Yeah, absolute light work to take care of that basement Reggie. Draken going to reposition that bundle. Be taken for free, of course, as Peru is finding themselves way down on the scoreboard, and honestly pretty far down on levels too.
Yeah, Peru not looking incredible in some of these moments, but then every once in a while they absolutely come online. We're going to have to see how the rest of these fights go. This Miraidon has been playing extremely well around some of this stun and slow that we, provide here from Peru. Nice big Ice Fang, however, nice into a Shadow Sneak, and here they come.
Beautiful Trevenant Unite forcing out the Slow Globe. 3 players ticked with the Forest Curse, and let's see if the Blivered Avalanche can buy the time they need. Draken moving back. Big Zacian Unite right there. Can't find a target, though. Miraidon is back, and they're going to move back into the action. That's finally a KO on a Nemo by Kratos. They keep pushing. Zugrug takes care of the Mimikyu, and all of a sudden the Juicers have nailed out the absolute damage core of Peru.
Now the question is, do they push here or do they peel back? Interestingly enough, Roland, not playing the build you would expect, having Wish on them. They have Snarl on this build, which is actually, brought a few interesting moments to this fight. When Mimikyu catches them, they are not feared in these moments when they do Snarl the play. We have Snorlax now letting the Miraidon charge up that Electro Drift as multiple members of Peru are taking this top objective. And Orange Juice is scoring in the bottom path, 222 to 37, Doomsnacks.
KO hitting an Earthquake on top of the pad. They're trying to get some space. We'll see if they get flanked by Zugrug and Flareons here. No, they're just going to let that Regieleki hit. They're content with their score separation that they've built by working through the bottom path.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job of scoring on the map so far, so even though they're giving up some points in the top path, they're still going to be ahead. We now have an objective spawning, probably the last objective we're going to see here before Rayquaza. Spawning in the bottom path, we have a Reggie, 40 seconds on the clock. 2 defender members of Peru are down here. We have that information. Kratos saw them walk through. The Horn Leech misses, but they move in, dealing some damage, and now they can turn back and deal with this Reggie steal. No one from Peru can really fight this at all, and they're going to peel away.
No, I mean, just you saw that Razor Leaf literally take half of Draken's HP right there. You can't even contend with that in that moment. So just let them have it and try and make a play here at Ray.
Here we go, getting ready for Rayquaza now. 10 seconds until it hits the map. Juicers in a power position on points, but Peru is looking to take a fight and win big, especially if they can combo with that Scyther. Zugrug looking for a catch, not able to find it. Woodhammer into a Horn Leech, gets no one. Flareon's charging up the Electro Drift right now. The grudge match is coming down to this first Ray here in our best of 5. Very, very close with the Juicers up by over 100. The Shadow Sneak catches, but it's not who you want. You're not looking to jump in on Zugrug right there. And the Juicers are feeling pretty calm, cool, and collected, Doomsnacks. They don't need to be the ones to make the play.
No, and that's because of that. Peru is biding their time as well. They want to execute a perfect strategy here, but when will they pull the trigger?
That is the question. We have a jump in with the Heavy Slam. No one going for it yet. They're trying to get the Juicers to bite, but the Juicers don't want to make a play that they don't need to make, obviously. Huge catch in from Zug!
Zug pushes forward. Electro Drift straight through. Draken's HP is ripped in half. Zynews ejects over the wall. Flareon's has an eye on the prize, and they're moving forward. So is Zacian. OG with the push. Horn Leash combo. Anemo in a ton of trouble. They have to skip away. The Meteors are crashing down on top of this team, and it's just Kea there to catch those receipts. Everybody's scrambling on the way on the backside. OG gets a KO streak of 2 on 2 very good players. Kratos sorts out Snorlax, and now, well, Peru, where are ya?
Yeah, what can Peru really do here? The Alolan Ninetales is caught. Mamoswine's coming in, but Rayquaza is just being absolutely ripped apart here, secured by Orange Juicers. Absolutely clinical, taking apart Peru, controlling the match, controlling Ray. The Juicers just dominated the last half of that game.
Absolute no doubter. I'm looking at a big concern that I had, and you can't see it right now, but Peru still had 3 unused Unite moves, and that's not including the one that Mamoswine used after Rayquaza was already taken. That is a lot of resources that you left in the bank when you could have tried to use them to win the game, and Peru Unite really needs to get it together.
We do a lot of talk here on broadcast when we're watching the Juicers about Flareons. We talk a lot about Kratos, obviously. These are 2 huge carries. OG ripping through that back line, picking up a double KO in that fight, just casually walking through Peru's squad. Really great stuff. The catch from Zug turned into a big fight. They found their moment, they called their play, and they went for a game win, and that's what they did here in game number 1. Juicers that much closer to our finals and to winning against a team who's looking to 2-peat.
No, exactly. I mean, Peru looking a little bit out of sorts near the end there. And credit to Zugrug, right? Came over the wall, big Horn Leech to really drag Peru into the fight. We were talking about when will Peru take the initiative. Well, they didn't. Zugrug forced them to try and make a move with that amazing Horn Leech.
Question we have here, will Orange Juicers seize this opportunity and take revenge for Worlds 24? And that really is the question, Doomsnacks. I mean, this is kind of perfect that we're seeing these 2 teams run into each other on the international stage once again. And the question is really who has leveled up their game. Right now, from the looks of it, it is the Juicers. We're seeing Peru throwing some similar looks that we saw at Worlds, and I'm not so sure that it's working out too well.
There might not be any merit to taking a support Pokemon that can heal. because they can't heal you fast enough to prevent you from getting deleted off the map.
It makes a lot
However,
of sense.
from that standpoint, there are more disruptive support Pokemon, like, you know, I'm just listing some off here, but like Psyduck, Wigglytuff, like things that are supports but can step up and tank. And honestly, a Blissey would have looked great in that composition next to a Snorlax or a Mamoswine.
We're going to take a look at these next picks here. Not surprising, we actually see the ban here on Zacian, and I think they're thinking, look, we're not going to be able to get this, and we don't want this to go over the other way, because they don't know how much else OG has. And I have to be honest with you, Dupesnacks, I also don't. I don't know what other Pokemon they want OG to run here. First pick going over to Peru, and they do get the Psyduck right away. Feels like a great draft for them. Obviously, we can lock in this Miraidon early for Juicers. If Flareon's does not get Inteleon, it feels like this is how they may go. We see the Umbreon, a huge pickup. Roland was incredible on this, and we have Flareon's on Miraidon.
So you have an opportunity for a classic Blissey pick here, and then you have kind of a disruptive supporter and then the pseudo tank supporter. Draken sticking true to the defender roots. Looks like I thought they might queue up an early Snorlax. No, we're grabbing Mewtwo, Y, and Snorlax in that position.
Yeah, so this is what you were talking about, right? Maybe not worrying too much about any type of recovery, just getting an insane amount of disruption into the enemy team, and nothing is better than Psyduck right now, it feels like. On over to the Juicers, we're going to see what their picks are. Garchomp could be a reasonable Pokemon for OG to slot into. Lucario is always available, but as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, I do feel like Lucario is sometimes just sort of used as a crutch. You don't have any of the Pokemon you want. You're a top, path player who's been playing for a long time, so of course you have a Lucario up your sleeve. It hasn't looked great, I've got to tell you, and not just in OG's hands. It just doesn't feel like it is the most meta choice that we can find here.
Well, the last time it had a real shining light was in the hands of OG at the final stretch when he had that absolutely legendary dive, the E-speeds that went on forever.
Into the phalanx, right?
That had just the crowd coming unglued and maybe trying to rekindle some of that magic here. As Kratos grabs Absol, again, you and I, big fans of that. Now, is what they've put together going to be enough to stem the tide of what Peru is working towards? I think so. I mean, Lucario outstanding, right? Move that to the side. I really like the draft that the Juicers went with. And then when you put Lucario into the mix and you consider the history OG has with it, I think they've got themselves pretty close to a winning recipe.
Yeah, what we've got here, in my opinion, for this Lucario is a pretty good Pokemon. It's not bad by any means. It's a pretty good Pokemon and a player who is extremely good on it. Now, ideally, what you would want is a phenomenal Pokemon and a player who is really good on that Pokemon, right? I love seeing Absol. I feel like it's been playing super well. Dodrio, on the other hand, is a really interesting pick because they do know that Kratos plays a pretty mean bird. So I wonder if they're like, look, we're counterpicking this pretty hard. We're shutting down the Sable. We're shutting down the Zacian. So we're kind of like going after multiple players on the other side. And at the same time, they're gutter picking this Dodrio, and it might shock Kratos a little bit. However, could of course play the Leafeon.
Right. And again, with players of this caliber, it's really tough to cut them off of their picks here, of course. I like the nod of the Dodrio. I think that Tempo and Anemo are particularly good at attacking themselves and stressing the map. Now with a decent support core and Psyduck, I think they've got an opportunity.
Here we are, our semifinals, game number 2. Peru, unite your purple team. Orange Juicers, your orange team, up 1 game in this best-of-5 semifinals as we have Draken trying to stop Roland right now.
Yeah, and Roland never quits on these invades, right? They are more than happy to just scramble across the map, even just move the Bunnelbees around, timed it perfectly to grab both berries, and now all of a sudden they're back into the mix and they can continue an invade if they want. Meanwhile, Lucario does a pretty good job holding the top path alone. We watched it for an entire year do so.
Yeah, that's Lucario's whole thing. It was able to play in the top path alone so incredibly well that it would be 2 Lucarios in the top path. This is days before draft, obviously. Boy, we're getting old here in the Thea Sky Ruins, Dupesacks. I remember when there was no draft. 2 Lucarios in every match. Sure, Grandpa.
Yeah, whatever, Grandpa. All right, Kratos going for the rotation. Draken just grabbing the speed berry is going to run back towards their side, pivot up top. We'll see where the Juicers adjust. Kratos is looking at a target. They see Kea. They go straight on top of the birds. Tons of damage put in quickly, and now Kea steps up with a surf to provide some breathing room for Peru.
Now they're going to have to peel back from this, and it doesn't look like either team came out of that insanely successful in comparison to the other. Everyone got a little bit of what they were looking for. Lucario here, now level 5, moving in for a possible KO. Dodrio moving up to sort of disrupt this, and then Absol just showing some presence right there, and everyone peeling back.
Roland, I believe, playing foul play here with this Umbreon. I didn't see a mean look come down. I thought I saw it dash through, which would be a nice little disruption tool for some of Peru's players that might get stuck on an engage here. Zugrug trying to evolve, just still a Phantom, but that's going to be an easy Indeedee to get that evolution, and they'll be sorted, ready to go.
Yeah, and here we go. Fight happening in the middle. Nice big pursuit.
Nice
catches the backside of that Psyduck, so you do get the reset. Kratos in trouble right now, though. Might go down here to the massive wicked blow, and then to the Dodrio who picks it up.
Yeah, I mean, good cover over the top to try and help out here from the Dodrio. Can't reposition with the Woodhammer as Draken and Kea make it out. The Dodrio is being chased and just buying space and time. It's a tough bird to catch up with.
It really can be tough to shut this thing down, especially on a super talented player like Tempo. It would be interesting to see if, you know, Kratos would have picked this up if it was not taken away by their opponents. This could be a really, really strong draft for Peru. It already feels quite good.
I'm taking a look here. Peru already doing miles better than they did last game. However, leading the lobby is Kratos again at level 8. Now met by the Urshifu also at level 8. Tempo doing their best to keep track. Zainu's on a good ranged Pokemon here. Mewtwo Y, we've seen a lot of positive games around them. Look at the use of the abilities on Lucario to not get popped up by the Psy Strike.
That's right, throwing that close combat right there made sure you did not get knocked up in that Psy Strike, the end of that move there. Really heads up play. And again, still one Pokemon in that top path, dealing with 2.
Okay, quickly knocked out is Zugrug right there. A lot of resource put into that. Goodbye, Flareons. Kea with the surf split as the Absol Unite comes out, and they're going to get this KO anyways, but at least that resource is now gone.
Yeah, that resource is gone. 2 members of Peru are down near this Registeel, but they're not exactly who you'd want to be. They don't have incredible secure. We'd be looking for a heavy slam, possibly a surf, possibly a psychic. The slam knocks up. The block pushes them away. Registeel getting very, very low right here. Kratos not able to... Oh, secured by the Dodrio.
And you know what? That's all facilitated by Draken right there, forcing out the Dodrio Knight. Flareons with a pretty good Electro Drift here, putting in damage. Okay, Umbreon Unite is out there trying to chase on Tempo a little bit. Finally, the Urshifu steps up, takes care of Flareons, rolling low on HP, and you want to get that knockout, they do. That was facilitated by Draken. That is communication that's happening. Tempo is like, buy time, I'm coming, I can give us a chance. He jumps over, heavy slam, knock up, block. They show up just in time for a drive-by boosted auto and take that. Well done, Peru.
Beautiful stuff here. You see the synergy between Zugrug and OG in that top path. He literally is bringing him experience so that he can get another stack in that goal zone. Then they break it here. Nice plays by Peru in that bottom path. And Juicer's really OG all alone in the top path, but somehow it's working out pretty well for him. I mean, shades of Lucario year 1.
Yeah, of course. You know, you want to talk about a comfort zone. This is definitely one for OG on this Pokemon. We mentioned that Lucario in and of itself, not super impressive. Lucario in the hands of players like OG, okay, we're working with something.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to say a Pokemon that's really impressed me in the hands of Peru, that's Tempo on Dodrio, which has been having quite a game. Running in for a fight right here at Nemo, sneaking around the backside, seeing what they can make happen as we are continuing the push. Miraidon looking to make something happen here. Mewtwo Unite move not able to shut it down. Zinus goes down.
Zinus goes down. Flareon's using their Unite move, followed up and forcing out the Mewtwo Y Unite. Nice support by Roland to hit him with the foul play to let Flareon's close the door. Good 1-2 punch.
Here we go. We see Urshifu now being chased in the central area here. We've got to fight in the top path. OG in some trouble. Big time power-up punch, close combat, and now we have Tempo running away from this so that they can score in the top path. Roland making their way up, but not fast enough.
Using, I believe, a little kick over Roland so they don't get hit by the foul play to be able to make it out. Zainu's dealing with OG in the top path. They're ripping this Regirock. Kea just hanging out, getting vision, might try and make a play for it. Why not at this point? Oh no, not the drive-by again. No, Kratos secures it, and now they're looking to flip the script. Trevor Unite popped and a couple players marked. Let's see if they go for the follow-up. Pushed against the wall with a big wicked blow is Zugrug, but that's a sturdy tree. They're going to make it out.
OG just riding his pumpkin home as the rest of the juicers are going to head and look for some experience. We've got a level 12 on this Absol right here, level 12 on her Shifu. Things are looking pretty good for both of these sides. Miraidon also at 12, so all of your strong carry Pokemon that are looking to dish out some serious damage are getting the experience they need. Dodrio just ticked over. They found Kea in the middle here, possibly looking for a KO. Absol could chase it down with the pursuit, and they get it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's kind of icing on the cake, right? I mean, they're a pretty good position. They wanted to siege this goal zone anyways. Zainu's using their Mewtwo-Y Unite to prevent the scores from going in. A decent opportunity there for them. Roland is popped up by the side strike, and Tempo's going to go on the chase. With a Nemo, this should be pretty elementary, my friend, and let's see if they get it done. They do, using that Urshifu Unite move.
While this is all happening, Juicers putting pressure on multiple places on the map, right? This is what they were doing really well game 1. Not as strong game 2, but we have this Regieleki walking, you know, OG not at that bottom path fight, but they were able to secure this objective. It doesn't look like it's going to get a ton of value, but it is going to waste some time. It makes sure that multiple members of Peru are not able to do what they like to do, farm up the map, get very, very strong right now.
Yeah, they do have that opportunity, though. A little bit of breathing room here. We got 40 seconds until Game 2's Rayquaza. Don't forget, Orange Juicers up 1, but this is a best of 5.
Yeah, I have to wonder if anyone's going to try to fight over this bottom Reggie, right? You don't have a ton of time on it, just about 10 seconds. If you go for a full rip, you're absolutely able to get it, but you also, you know, directly tell your opponents exactly where essentially the entire team is. And it looks like no one is going to make that play. We have Zugrug, the Trevenant, holding that bottom position in the tall grass. We have Psyduck looking around to see what they can find. And I think they might have sussed them out a little bit. Multiple members of OJ moving towards the center. And this match is so close, Dude Snacks.
We're walking.
131, 124.
We're walking forward. Flareon's with a decent forward position. Roland up top, trying to drop on someone's head here. We'll see again who makes the first move.
It's a close battle, and that's, I mean, an understatement. This game is so incredibly close. One of these players needs to peel off to score. Zugrug catching a little bit with a Woodhammer, but needing to peel back here in a lot of trouble.
They didn't catch their target, and now they're collapsing on Zugrug. This allows Tempo to get into the back line, forcing out Flareon's Unite move for no value. Tempo going to have to circle back to the middle. Nobody's down, but some resources on the side of Juicers are gone. Mewtwo-Y Unite also gone.
Yeah, and now we're seeing what's happening for the rest of this fight. Nice little Psychic pulls the Trevenant forward, but it's not who you're looking for here. We're using the Power Punch for the Unstoppable. Here comes the block.
Block back the other way, and I think Tempo tried to jump on Rhino. Trevenant Unite comes out, and a player is marked here. Using the Unite move right there, going to punch through them and take the knockout on OG. And in an instant, because Tempo is on the chase, they get a knockout. Roland sorts out Dodrio, but the work's been done, and the damage has also been done. Absol coming back. Kratos needs to get in the mix quickly, because this is a lot of pressure that Peru Unite is putting on. They haven't started Rayquaza, but they have a good amount of information here to see if they need to make a play. A Nemo moving forward. They're trying to get on top of them. No, can they? Side Strike is going to hit. It's going to pop them up. A Nemo needs to line up a Wicked Blow. No, a Throat Chop gets it. Can't breathe out here with that type of move.
A Nemo right now going down to the power-up punch. A power-up punch takes them down. Snorlax able to take down the Trevenant. 211, 124 after that score. Peru knows that they are ahead, whether they were or not to begin with. Power-up punch moving in. They're going for the Rayquaza right now. They're ripping it apart. It's already at about half, but we have Zinus just taking every member of the Juicers down. And game number 2 is going to be heading to Peru.
What a game, what a fight. And honestly, right there, you saw what happened. Let's talk about it real quick. Now, I mean, we got 8 seconds. We got 8 seconds. We'll talk about it in the break.
We'll talk about it in 5 seconds right here. More points going in. Peru looking pretty incredible right there. I'm going to have to say, I don't know how the Juicers are going to sort of, you know, diagnose this through the autopsy of that match, but I don't think OG on Lucario has much value as this game continues on. And we're talking about this earlier. That Zacian ban might just be, well, I mean, one of the worst things that could happen. One thing I do know, though, I just do not think Lucario is the answer, at least for this team, but it feels like for many teams right now. This Pokemon is, its best days at this point are behind it.
Well, I mean, we saw the Garchomp hover for a moment, right, in that Game 2 draft, and I would have preferred to see Garchomp as well, if I'm being quite honest, right? Especially if on, you know, you as you say, the Stardew Valley mission, right? OG was left alone for quite some time, and a Garchomp getting bigger just has more lasting potential in a game than a Lucario does.
Here we go. Very similar start to this draft. We have the Umbreon taken by the Juicers. Once again, Sableye and the Zacian, banned by Peru. Orange Juicers, Slowbro, and the Inteleon. We're going to see how they want to play this. There are a few things they could do to counter.
This I like.
Yeah, here
this
we go.
I like.
Psyduck
This I
Blissey,
like.
extremely powerful.
Doesn't matter which one of those two players. Again, both of these are played as pseudo tanks, right? And now you actually have the healing factor built in with Blissey, a phenomenal Unite move in the Bliss assistance, and they had an opportunity to pick almost this exact same thing for themselves in game one. They didn't. It punished them. We'll see if they can make it work in game two. Roland, as much as I love to see all the unconventional picks that they have, going to an Eldegoss here makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. And also it means we're going to see Zugrug on this Umbreon, right? Where we've been seeing him on Trevenant today, made some amazing plays, missed some that game. We do have Mewtwo once again. We do have Urshifu once again. Final couple of picks over here to the Juicers. We've had a lot of different looks out of Kratos throughout this tournament. I want to see what they want to bring to this next match. Right now, OG hovering the Blaziken, which I got to say I like a lot more than their pick previously.
And they had the chance to take it then.
And we're going to see Kratos' final pick here. Ooh,
Okay.
Metagross.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I like this. This is going to be... Look, I really like Metagross. I think it's extremely good. On the other side, a Pokemon that I think is honestly pretty insane right now. They could be locking in this Aegislash.
I mean, we've seen it gone from banned to pick first to pick last, and that just shows the life cycle of a tournament that goes over 3 days, Spraggles. Things ebb and flow. Things change. You have to be ready to adjust. You need to have deeper Pokemon pools than you've ever had to have before, ready to make plays here. And Tempo goes, you know what? Let's leave the sword in the sheath. I want the three-headed bird.
Dodrio looked amazing last game for them. And they don't have a ton of things on the side of the Juicers that you're crazy concerned with for Dodrio, right? The big issue, of course, is the Umbreon. Outside of that, you may be dealing with, Cotton Spore, Eldegoss, which could be a problem. The knock-up, there's some slow there. The auto attacks from LD are pretty annoying. But you don't have any of those really big threats that are going to be slowing you down the entire time. So you get to make a lot of plays with the bird here. As we take a look at some of the, the expressions of the members of the Juicers, I don't know if they're as much locked in. They don't seem entirely thrilled with how this is going. They had a great game one and have a middling game two.
Hear me out.
Okay, I want to hear you out.
Zugrug.
Actually, I gotta go. You talk.
Okay. Zugrug plays like mean look.
All right, I'm back.
Plays mean
Did you
look
get through
wish.
it?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Zugrug plays mean look wish. Roland plays leaf tornado Eldegoss.
Leaf Tornado, I mean, I could see it, right?
Goes for the, because they have a lot of things scrapping up front, and you just pepper them with some blinds.
I mean, it could be pretty fun to see something like that. I think more likely we would see the Puff and Spore rather than even Puff Guard, because he loves to disrupt the enemy team. But we'll see how they want to play this, as we're going to be heading into game number 3. Again, this is a best of 5 in our semifinals. Orange Juicers from North America, they are your purple team. Peru Unite from LATAM South, well, from Peru, they are your orange team.
Roland stepping up, no invade mission here with the Eldegoss, but we're putting pressure on. Here we go. Zainus must be feeling pretty good as the legendary Pokemon Mewtwo, and Draken, the secondary, we'll call it like a tertiary legendary Pokemon, Psyduck.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Psyduck is a tertiary legend. It's a pseudo-legendary, in my opinion, for sure, as we see this Pokemon go down in the bottom path. Tempo already 4.5.
Now, we've just got the Blissey hanging out, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised to have this game be the one where the Gossifleur doesn't go on an invade mission, given the fact that we've got an unescorted Cubfu trying to get to level 5, and they hit it.
Yeah, they did hit that level 5. We have the 9-minute experience that this Dodrio is going to be able to get, and it does evolve to the 3-headed bird here in the bottom path. Kratos now in the top path.
We'll see where the positioning that they're going to go for is. It is a 3v2, but it's a Mewtwo Y and a Psyduck. A lot of great tools in their kit to really keep this thing from going out of control. They end up surrendering that experience and not giving up anything in the goal zone. Decent look.
Yeah, it feels like both teams are really not pressing too hard in this situation. Zugrug is playing foul play, so we have no mean look to shut down the Dodrio, but foul play is also just an incredibly good move. Kratos obviously scrapping a little bit here. There's the Pollen Puff, so they do have the ability to recover some of this HP. Combuskin, sorry to say it, makes it to the map, Doomsday. I knew he was going to throw it.
Zugrug moving here. You said foul play. I expect Snarl as well in this kind of position here to really help put the pressure on as a front liner. Zugrug pivoting to the middle. We have the 8-minute birds about to populate. We'll see how these teams scrap around it. I'm going to hold my breath for a second. Zugrug going to go straight towards Anemo there, and it's going to be pretty much everything taken by the Juicers as the surf from the side duck is a little late. It pops its headache, its head hurts, and it's getting away.
Yeah, it's running away right here, and no one is making any big waves in this match yet, right? And of course, no one's running surf, so that does make some sense. But no one seems to want to.
Psyduck is running surf.
Well, all right.
Never been wrong.
Take that again. Let's rewind. No one's running surf. That's a weird-looking bubble beam, I gotta say. As we have Kratos here in this top path. Nice big Zen Henpa, but they're not able to pick up the kill. It's the Eldegoss, I think, with the auto attack that gets it.
Shout out to Roland not giving up on the A button here, because if they made it out, that would have been a tough look for the Juicers. Now, not the ideal person you want getting the knockout, but you'd much rather have it than not.
And you can see Peru Unite making some waves here. Not surprising, they're running surf.
A fact that we knew definitely from the beginning, no questions asked.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't thinking about Blastoise.
No, not a soul was thinking about that stuff. 77-28, and now we've got the basement Reggie. It's a Reg Ice. Egg Bomb comes in. Electro Drift on Draken, who's just getting bullied a little bit. Finally knocked out. Is that enough time to take the Reg Ice? No, man. The Miraidon Unite is already out. Very, very silently, Flareon's leveled up.
Yeah, Flareon's there, level 9, which is pretty incredible, but they just don't have the ability to out-secure a Wicked Blow or Shifu.
It's difficult.
It's going to be tough. However, on the side of the Juicers, they do kind of have their own unstoppable secure weapon. That is OG on the Blaziken in the top path, currently sitting at level 7. On the other side, we've got 2 Unite moves. Dodrio and Urshifu have just hit their level 9.
Psystrike going to hit and pop that EV passive. The chase is on. Draken hits a couple waves of Surf, that move that we definitely knew about the entire time.
Yeah, for sure I knew Surf was there. OG in some trouble getting sent up to the sky and KO'd there with the Wicked Blow. That's the Unite move we were just talking about on the Urshifu as we have multiple members of the Juicers sieging this bottom goal zone.
The reposition on Flareon's could have been disastrous. Not even Electrode if you actually just saw him slide left to right as if their character couldn't move in any other direction. The Coliseum is put down. We're in the pit here and we're fighting like it's a rock concert. Bliss Assistance on the Metagross, on Anemo is going to help them put some pressure on Kratos and they're finally going to get eliminated.
Wow, I mean, look at how long that Metagross was able to brawl in that moment there. Not able to stop Tempo from scoring, however. Flareon's looking for a possible fight. I believe they had their Electro Drift charged up, but they also are recognizing that they're running into an unfair situation. 3-on-2, they're going to peel back. 53 right now, 106. We're at about the halfway point of game number 3 here. This is looking a little better for the Juicers than game number 2, but I still think Peru is in control. It feels like maybe they're drafting exactly how they want, and we have not yet really seen this Blaziken take off.
Well, OG needs to figure out how to get this Blaziken to take off. It might be a flightless bird, though. We're about to find out. The right side team is, in fact, in lead. We said that because we know things. Under 5 minutes left.
That's right, and this is pretty close. We're going to see if they want to make a play here. We have 2 supports hanging out in the bottom path. Multiple members of both teams converging in the top path. Big time Mewtwo Unite move as they are moving in. Regieleki getting very, very low already. The overheat comes out, and they do get the secure. That's
what you wanted here. Draken caught in that big Metagross Unite, can't get out. 2 players down, and now Tempo's trying to guard this goal zone. They used their Dodrio Unite to come back through the overheat discharge, and if they stepped right back into it, if they didn't get that knockout, that would have looked vicious, Cowboy.
Yeah, but they are able to take them down, stop this Regieleki, and even though we had a great push there from the Juicers, they aren't able to make anything from it. Trying to squeeze orange juice out of a stone here as Peru is able to... Can they do that?
You can't do that.
You can't do that, exactly. Psyduck has Surf at level 4.
We know that as well. All right, here we go. Orange Juicers on this Registeel, having the agency for V2. We'll see if Anemo tries to step up with this Wicked Blow. No, doesn't even give it a crack of a chance here as Kea moves back, and that's Metagross charging forward towards Anemo. Gonna have to pick up a berry, but now we've got some support in the back line. Going straight in, quick KO on Eldegoss, no questions asked. Overheat is there, hits Kea, but we're pushing forward. Nice big Wicked Blow on Kratos, dealing tons of damage to them, as now they're trying to find their next target. It's OG scrambling it away up the flux zone of Peru, and they say, no, not on our home turf here.
They are pushing towards this tier 1 goal zone. Multiple members, 4 in fact, of Peru looking to make a fight happen. Flareon's in some trouble. Here comes Kratos to help defend. Draken going down to the Electro Drift, and now they are pushing back towards this goal zone. 7 points go in, but Dodrio looking to pick up a KO. Nice big Metagross Unite, puts them into the Coliseum here in the bottom path, and look at the combination with the Miraidon Unite move.
How has nobody gotten knocked out for Peru yet? That is the wild part of this. Finally, they get a knockout on Anemo. They tried to get points in, but it's disrupted by the Blissey, and now that goal zone still stands, Spragle. So, I mean, a decent exchange. Orange Juicers got a lot of levels, but couldn't cash in any points.
That's right. They got some KOs. They just couldn't make a lot happen right there. Once again, Blaziken not being a huge factor in this moment, but hopefully by the end of the match for the Juicers, something can happen there. 61-106. Peru still ahead in a decent position right here. Looks like they're putting some pressure onto Zugrug, the Umbreon, as they are looking for this Regieleki. 30 seconds now until Rayquaza. They've got some great secure tools up here, but look at Zugrug. Look at the disruption. Regieleki at half.
Yeah, by the time Zugrug stepped up, it bought time for the Electro Drift Miraidon to come in and take the objective that Peru put all that hard work and energy into, and now it's Anemo that's caught out. Wicked Blow doesn't hit anyone. Zugrug content with the work they've done. They're going to let that thing walk towards, and let's see if they can rip it off the map. 5 seconds till Ray.
That's right, 5 seconds till Ray. And if you take a look at the bottom of the map here, Kratos is putting in 50 points right now. And what an unfortunate way to score that. Just a hair off of it being 100. They are up now, but they could be up by so much more. Still ahead. They do have that tier 1 down, 111-106 right now. We're going to see if either team wants to start this fight. Everyone from Peru Unite pretty bunched up over on their side of the map here. They recognize that that 50 might not have put them up that much, or they might still just be very, very close. 1 minute, 35 seconds on the clock. We're going to see who wants to start this fight. OG throwing the Focus Blast. Dodrio looking for a way in.
Oh man, Zugrug going for a score up top. It is stopped, but now they're going to try and put pressure on Rayquaza. The back cap from Tempo, the Dodrio, is quickly putting in 32 to give them the lead in short order. Zainus was farming up that whole time, biding time so they could get their Unite move. Draken is trying to help out up top here as Anemo is sussed out, pulled in, and we got to hit them with a Unite move quickly. Otherwise, they're going to go down. In the back line is OG, but they can't deal with the duck, and now OG goes down. We're going to put in a pot shot. We're finally seeing Unite moves. Zugrug hits there. Long-range Bliss assistance. Tempo's got everything in the tank, and they're looking to shred through the Juicers. Let's see how much pulp we can knock out of this fruit. Let's see what they can do, as all of a sudden things have gone from high action to low action.
That's right. Now we're peeling back here. Peru looking to see if they can put the pressure on and keep these KOs. The Wicked Blow doesn't find its mark. Kratos still lives with a massive Unite move, catches the Dodrio. They're not out of this yet, but there's only 35 seconds left, Doob Snacks.
Now they're going back in. Kratos is pinned against the wall. Anemo gets a clutch knockout there, and Zainus is putting the pressure on. We've got one Miraidon Unite move. They need to start hitting Rayquaza or Peel to score. We've got the Blissey going for the Hundo Burger back cap action, and nobody on Orange Juicers have pivoted towards the T1. This is going to be a tight race. Everybody on Peru, they're giving up the Rayquaza. They're counter-scoring, saying you don't have enough time. They need the Ray. They should have left to score earlier, and now it's going to be an absolute race. Can everybody on Juicers put their points in? There's a Burger there. They need another one. No!
It does not look like they were able to break that tier 1, so they were not able to score in the tier 2, but it doesn't look like they could have made it there anyway, as Peru runs and counter scores in that moment. Peru 392 to the Juicers 241. And now we have the bans. We're heading into our draft here. One more game for Peru. Juicers are going to need to win 2 in a row. We have Slowbro ban. We have the Sableye ban. Final ban over to the Juicers. It's going to be the Blissey, and Zacian immediately snapped up.
No question. No questions asked here. You don't deviate from this plan until OG can prove he can do something else.
Yeah.
Until then, doesn't even matter. Kratos quickly eyeing up the sword, but Flareon's on the Inteleon for the first time in this set. I hope it's going to be a difference maker for him.
Yeah, this is interesting, right? They were able to get this Inteleon. They obviously were not looking to ban it right here. They knew they had the first pick, and they were pretty positive that Peru was going to keep their strategy of Sableye Zacian after it worked multiple times in a row. On the other side, we see the Psyduck, we see the Urshifu. These have been power picks. Zugrug is going to take that Umbreon here. OG hovering the Lucario. And unfortunately for OG, this has not been a stellar Pokemon for them. Neither was Blaziken. It really does feel like Peru is directly targeting two players. They are targeting Roland with Sableye, and they are targeting OG with Zacian.
You target Roland by grabbing Sableye, of course, but Roland has not been deficient on other Pokemon. There's a difference. You don't want to contend with his Sableye specifically because it changes the course of the game. You don't want to OG to play Zacian because he hasn't proved that he can do it on anything else.
Yeah,
there's a huge difference.
He has not had stellar games on any other Pokemon on the roster. Interestingly enough, we do have the Dodrio here, so Tempo is not going to be able to run that back. Tempo had 2 wins in a row with Dodrio, 2 MVPs in fact. Roland now on the Comfey, a Pokemon that works really well with something insanely mobile like Dodrio. You know, most supports, Dupe Snacks, are not able to follow something like Dodrio, Zoroark, even Leafeon deep enough into some of these fights, except the Comfey Collar that sits on one of these Pokemon. On the other side, Tempo deciding to pick up the Mimikyu. Zinus also with the Glaceon, which is really interesting because Glaceon, I think, plays... It's weird. Both Dodrio and Glaceon almost counter each other in different ways. Like the burst, the speed from Dodrio, and then just the ability to catch Dodrio at massive range, no matter what it's doing from Glaceon.
Well, I look at the side of Peru and I see 3 crystal clear ways to try and deal with that Dodrio. Urshifu Unite if it steps too close. Glaceon if we're going Icicle Spear to chase it across the map if you aren't the primary target. And lastly, the Mimikyu Unite, and especially if you hit like a really sly Shadow Sneak and kick off that engagement, that looks great as well. However, they have to contend with some range here. Now they have the Inteleon, and Flareon's Snipe Shot Inteleon is very, very good. And if they can't wrangle in that player, it's going to be a tough hill to climb.
And here we go. You can see the Orange Juicers down 1 game in this best of 5. The winner of this Dupe Snacks is going to be facing off tomorrow, the grand finals here of the AOS Cup. And of course, the winner of the AOS Cup gets the first seed guaranteed at Worlds. Last year, it was the team you're looking at right here, Peru Unite, formerly Fusion. They won the whole thing.
They did indeed, and now they are 1 10-minute game away.
Here we go. Orange Juicers, your purple team. Peru Unite, your orange team. Game number 4 of our semifinals. Orange Juicers need to win 2 in a row. Peru Unite can put it to bed right now and get ready for a bright and early Sunday morning in the grand finals if they win this one.
Zinus peeling back, good pressure by Zugrug here. Flareon stepping up, and that Sobble is very good at getting early secures. We just saw it right there with the water gun.
Yeah, nice early secures right there from that Sobble. They're not making any waves, but they are using the water gun. The waves are, of course, going to be made by the Psyduck. Level 4 is when they can surf.
Yeah, they can surf. Actually, it's just a very large bubble beam. Is that what you said it was?
It looks like a bubble beam, but I actually heard from the booth there was a weird bug. They tried to play bubble beam, and apparently it was surf.
Confusing for all of us. Yeah. Well, you all at home, not us. We know everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. As we see Kratos up here on the top path, looks like they got a lot of information right there, so I do think they saw the Urshifu making their way up here, which they probably expected, looking to see if they can get any damage here onto the Duck. At level 4, it does have Surf, so it's able to push them away.
A lot of confidence moving up with Kea here as they put the pressure on. A knockout would be great. They get one. Knockout back the other way. Good work by Kratos as they're able to sort out the Mimikyu. Kea putting on the Surf. Let's see if they can put the second wave on the right target. They can't get the BOGO deal with the Comfey, and that's a rare occurrence in and of itself.
Very, very close, and look at the damage. I mean, they did a lot of work there, but Peru did not go down. Huge wicked blows from them. They were able to pick up some massive KOs. If we head down to the bottom path, we can see Glaceon and Umbreon fighting. Here comes Flareon to see what they can do there. Water Gun secures that wild Pokemon. Zinus, only level 4 right now.
Icy Wind Glaceon here. So we're going to be going. It's another secure tool that they have to try and get this Rayquaza, right? That's something that they are incredibly good at within the team. They're also incredibly good when they good at winning when they don't have the Rayquaza. We're scrapping in the middle here. Nemo's very low and Nemo's gone. And now the Comfey's looking to hitch a ride so they can put more targets on notice. And that next target is Draken. Half HP gone. Here comes Kea to try and help them out. The Surf can't get him out of dodge. KO Shrika 2 for Zugrug, and they're playing with a vengeance.
OG up in the top path right here, almost level 7. Lucario doing what Lucario does best and winning the path very soundly here. Dodrio getting pushed off of this goal here. Flareon's as well. That Icy Wind Glaceon able to output a ton of damage in one huge burst as we get ready for the fight here at the 720 birds between these two goal zones.
They look pretty good, the Juicers do, in the first stages of this one. Nice snipe shot hits Kea. They can't even engage in there. Peru, despite having 4 players, kind of feel like they got the worst of that exchange. Missed the wild farm, but chunked the Nemo huge with that snipe shot.
Huge snipe shot right there. Now we're going to have to see if Peru actually wants to go for this after having been hit with multiple snipe shots. They do have Zinus so that they can deal some damage to it, and they have a secure tool, of course, but that HP is getting lower and lower. They need to peel back and grab some berries here, as Regirock is now being hit by the Juicers.
Yeah, Kratos is looking to chase on top of this team here and space everyone out right back into the action. Zinus and Draken at least to get eyes on what's going on. Heavy slam back out, and Peru's going to have to do some work on other stages of the map and hopefully get in here. Charging forward is the Dodrio. Zinus, as their tempo finally shows up. Level 7, a bit smaller than I think they'd like to be right now.
Yeah, we have this Dodrio at 9, which is huge, right? Mimikyu only 7, but we have our Shifu also at 9. OG actually having a great time in this path. This is one of Lucario's comfort places, right? They're just doing such an amazing job getting all of this wild Pokemon experience, getting very, very strong. The question is, will they be able to use it for some of these big fights? Nice big Unite move there from Zugray. They're trying to stop 3 from scoring in the bottom path.
Wow.
They're doing their best. The snipe shot flying in. They actually do a great job here, pushing them away from this huge foul play. Here comes Inteleon looking for the KO. That's a double KO for Flareon's, possibly a triple. The snipe shot goes wide.
I mean, Flareon's out here looking like Phil Collins, hitting him with the invisible touch, playing in the darkness, and long-range shots finding their marks over and over again. Nice Unite move is going to finally put an end to the reign of terror that Flareon's has had on Peru.
And now we have Anemo looking to make something happen here. Big time Wicked Blow goes wide. Also, the snipe shot misses. The Wicked Blow misses sometimes. And that's a double KO for the Dodrio.
I mean, I thought they would have gotten good coverage from the Glaceon with the Icicle Spear, but unfortunately they decided that Icy Wind was the place to be, and I have to say I disagree, because you need some way to track with Kratos right now. They're getting too big.
And here we go. 40 points going in. Nice big overcap here. OG in a little bit of trouble. The Shadow Sneak catching them right here. Close combat, not able to pick up a KO. Lucario does go down. But look at the work here from the Juicers. 214-26, doing great on levels. A very different game number 4. Juicers are right back in this thing.
I'm looking at Peru, and it almost feels like they're playing to not be super far behind by the end and then try and flip Ray, take it, and win that way. Because you look at Icy Wind, you look at this Wicked Blow Urshifu, even a heavy slam out of Snorlax, right? You're trying to look for options. Mimikyu Unite is used on Kratos. Not getting a knockout there would have been brutal. They are able to close the door with Kea putting tons of pressure as the Duck, and now they're going to get some points back here, and this is incredibly important as Anemo finally gets to stack.
Wow, and look at that. I mean, it almost looked like it was going to be a rough score there, but they waited for it, right? Doing some pretty quick math so that they were able to actually get a very solid overcap in that top goal zone. 214-132, and with a tier 1 goal zone up and, you know, the ability to peel away from Rayquaza, they are not out of this game at all. Less than 100 points separate these teams. Juicers in a much better position than game number 2 and 3, but still, this is extremely close. 2 minutes now until Rayquaza, and we have a Regieleki in our top path.
Kea and Zugrug feel aware of each other. At least Zugrug feels aware of Kea. And Peru Unite is showing up in full force to put a siege on this goal zone. Nice Psychic, heavy slam follow-up. We're breaking that passive, forcing out Umbreon's Unite move, as they're still going to fight to get some points. And Zugrug is trying their best. Nice rotation by Kratos. Nice Unite move by Kratos. It's everybody under the sun. Meep, meep, Roadrunner coming through. And it's Wile E. Coyote looking Peru as they just walk into a wall.
Huge plays here, and now the Juicers are scoring in the top path, 307-202. So for everything that Peru got in that bottom siege, the Juicers were able to counter with, and that was a massive Dodrio Unite move, knocking them all up like Phil Collins.
A lot of Phil Collins references. We're doing it today. We 2 times more than norm. The two Peter.
Phil Collins.
That's a 2 Peter, baby. Under 3 minutes, 50 seconds until Rayquaza. Peru down by 105 points. However, they're doing actually okay in experience now.
Yes.
Kratos had kind of run away from it for a minute there, but they were able to catch up. That's crucial.
Here we go. We're looking at some of this experience in the center right here. Nice big close combat. Lucario is going to have to try to run out of this. They are caught by the Shadow Sneak, the play rough. Not able to pick up the KO, though. They're actually happy with just pushing them out of this fight. We have an objective in the bottom path. It's the only thing on the map, really, is all of our teams are kind of racing here. I think neither of them really want this as much as they just want their opponents to not get it and realize that they could actually force a fight and maybe win the game here. However, Peru's getting aggressive. They're going for the Registeel. We have Zug moving in to stop it, and with the time on the clock now at 2:05, they're going to peel away from this Dupes next. The Juicers are in a tough spot. This could be their last ray of the tournament. Rayquaza is here, and they're looking for a possible fight, and we do have Zugra getting caught.
Oh, straight in. OG goes for it. Mimikyu Unite on top of the Lucario. Peeling back is Kea. Oh, and Nemo gets punched up, punched through his Flareon. They double KO for the Snorlax into the Power Nap Heavy Slam combination, but Kratos is still standing. 3 players down for the Orange Juicers. Dodrio's trying to make some magic happen. First player is Mimikyu. Kratos, everything is on your shoulders. Roland's pretty heavy, but you're carrying them too right now. Can you do it? 5v2, Heavy Slam knockout, no, BOGO deal, Comfy gone. OG comes through, they have the long range Aura Cannon play. They fired, it's too early. Rayquaza about to get secured by Peru. Peru, the absolute kryptonite of the Juicers. The absolute kryptonite of the Juicers.
Now they need to score, and that shouldn't be too tough. A shield on the Psyduck, a shield on the Urshifu. They're heading towards this goal zone, 307, 202. It's not over, but it's so incredibly close. Snorlax heading up to the top path, looking to score, and they were not able to be stopped here by the Inteleon. The score happens, and now Peru is scoring in the main goal zone, 402, 307. Dodrio looking to stop the Mimikyu as we have Snorlax jumping towards the main base and also putting some more points in, 307, 502. 522, 622. The match is slipping away from the Juicers, and their opportunity to win at AO's Cup, their opportunity to get revenge on Peru has slipped through their fingers here. With only 30 seconds left, it doesn't look like there's anything they can do.
Peru looking at the Juicers saying, you may be the Juicers, but we're on the performance-enhancing drugs. We are juiced to the gills right now. A 3-1 hammering, and Peru rallying back in this one and absolutely signed, sealed, delivered that L right to the Juicers' mailbox, and now they're just rubbing salt in the wound.
And now we have Peru once again in the position they were in last year, prepared to head to the finals of the AOS Cup, taking down their rivals from North America once again, twice at Worlds, and here on the international stage, they just seem to have the Juicers number.
Juicers haven't picked up a loss this entire weekend until this match. Peru able to give them 3 L's in a row, and now they are one best of 5 away from being your 2-peater, your back-to-back AOS Cup champions.